you can't be a top performer if you don't have clarity about what you want. You can't be a top performer. You can't make decisions. You can't do things that you need to do if you're not clear about what you want. You're not clear about why you want what you want in the first place. Now, that is the key here.
All right. Hi, everyone. Good morning and welcome to the Work Inspires podcast, the people's podcast for life, career, and business. In today's episode, we have an amazing guest and partner with us, KarFei Chia, or we call him Coach KarFei. So welcome, KarFei.
Hello, everyone. Nice to see you guys. Hi, Mel. Hi, Jason. Hi, Aswar. Nice to see all of you and nice to be here.
Nice to have you here after so long as well.
Agree. It's been quite a while. It's been quite a ride for 2021 as well. So, just to start off, I think we're gonna invite you to invite Mallory to just share a little bit about who Coach KarFei has journeyed through and what is his amazing works about.
Oh my gosh.
Mallory?
I tell you, KarFei is like somebody who I truly admire, like crazy. So, KarFei, when I first met KarFei, okay, I'm just going to talk about something a bit more personal, okay? So when I first met KarFei, KarFei was
That was
like
very long ago.
Yes, that was very long ago. Okay. KarFei was like my somebody I admired. I was just a student. Okay. I was just a student at time. KarFei not that old, okay, he just nampak older. But he is not that old. And when I first met him, I was just a student at Stanford University. And I remember sitting down at the stage, right? And I just go, wow, that guy so young, already up there, already inspiring us about leadership. At that time, he was in Isaac, Malaysia. And he was introducing us about leadership and talking about, student leaders. And I'm just like, okay, I want to be that guy in the future. Later did I know, right? KarFei is not that old. He's pretty young and he's like super successful already at this age. So just to give you a formal introduction now, he's the managing partner of Communications Leadership Academy, a talent and organizational consultancy, where the primary focus is helping organizations to thrive in the future of work, which is something I think we all need after these pandemic situations. So a lot of MNCs and big banks are some clients and work with many leadership development, organization, workplace culture, and his coaching program has made him a household name in Asia, which I definitely agree. I will always refer to KarFei as the coach guy, and he's been featured in TEDx, Huffington Post, Malaysia Tatler, International Coaching Federation, and he's the first Malaysian to be in the Forbes Coaches Council and invite-only council by Forbes. So with that, we are very, very privileged to have you here with us today.
Thank you for having me, guys. I mean, now that you talk about, how we met, that was a really story of a long time ago, right? Let's bring down some good memory.
Nice. Great. Thank you so much for the introduction as well. Something personal to really start off with. So before we really deep dive down to today's topic, which is an amazing topic, by the way. So it's creating life through coaching, something Coach KarFei in his name as well. If you can see on the screen, if you're watching it through video, you can see his name is already Coach KarFei. It's not even KarFei Chia, it's Coach KarFei. So before we begin, let's play a simple fun energizer. I would personally call it word association. So I'm going to say 4 words right after this. And all you need to do is just share the first word or the first couple of words or phrase that comes to mind after I've given you the word. Cool? All clear? Same goes to Mallory, so you would need to be prepared as well. So the first
I thought we can both torture him. What's this, man?
we call this a conversational one. It's not a torture podcast session, but yes. So I'm on KarFei's side as well. So with that, the first word, let's kick off with Mallory. The first word is purpose.
Journey.
Journey. Nice. What about you, KarFei? Experience. Amazing. You're gonna run out of words after this. But yes, next word would be work. What is work to you? Impact. Nice. I have the same word as well when I thought about it. Mallory is stuck right now. Fun. Work is fun. Okay, coming from a workaholic, we all know, I think Asfa in the background would agree as well. Work is fun, definitely for her. The third word would be family.
Oh.
I go first.
Let's go, Mallory.
Support.
Fulfillment. Nice. Okay. And the last but not least, the word would be life. For me, would be adventure. One word to sum up life would be adventure. What about both of you?
Oh, that's a good one.
Exploring.
Exploring. Adventure, exploring. What about you, KarFei?
Decisions.
Decisions.
Wow,
Interesting,
going deep.
interesting. I know, right? We're just kicking off and he's already going deep. Great, great, great. So let's thank you so much, KarFei. So let's start off with something in your opinion. Let's just start with this. In your opinion, do you believe that we all have the ability to succeed in anything that we want? Why or why not?
Well, I think the question, I mean, the right answer to this, then of course it's a yes, right? I mean, it's just a no-brainer, right? The right answer to this is that, yeah, you can do anything you want, you can be anything you want, you can decide whatever that you want, and go through it. But the fact is, can and actually succeeding are two very different things. Right? So the question is, yes, of course you can. Anyone can, right? Anyone can decide to do whatever they want, be whatever they want, and so on. But actually getting there, actually being that person that you want to become, doing the things that you want to do, I think that's what separates ordinary people and extraordinary people. Ordinary, it's, yeah, you think you can, you always think you can, whatever that you want, you can. But you didn't get there. But extraordinary people, as the word says, do that little bit of extra to actually get to where they want to go. So in my opinion, yes, everyone can become who they want to become. But I think what will really separate for all of you who are listening as well is if you want to, I think like the word association just now, right? The last one it's life, right? And I chose decision is because I think that's the key thing that you need to, right? In order for you to succeed, to become who you want to become, it's really making that decision to pull through. It's not the decision to act. Decision to act, to be honest, it's easy. But the decision to pull through and follow through, that's a difficult piece. So for me, it's really about following through, making that decision, making that choice, taking up all the things that comes with whatever that's going to come, right? To give you guys a bit of example, I mean, I've been coaching for almost 11 years right now. And most people think, like Mallory, like we met almost 10 years ago. That was when I started my coaching career, probably like first or second year of my coaching career and so on, right? Back then, she thought I was really successful, right? But I was nowhere close. And right now, even a lot of people always look at me, wow, KarFei has been traveling to speak, to travel in big stages, international, and all this kind of things. People think I'm super successful. But what people don't see are the things that I had to do behind the scene, right? Like, I mean, right now being a new parent, taking care of the son, taking care of the kids, taking care of the family, those are things that comes on top of who I want to become as a, famous coach, impactful coach, whatever that you want to call it, right? And at the same time, doing all this coaching stuff as well, training and so on, the amount of rejection that we had to take, it's more than any other people, like more than a lot of people in the world as well, right? We are sort of like a salesperson. People thought we are a coach, but technically we are a salesperson. We spend 80% of our time selling something, selling our coaching program, selling, our transformation program, selling to the corporate, selling to individuals. And those are the things that I say we because I think Mel, Jason, and Alsa can relate and resonate with this. That's what we have to do in order for us to pursue. That's what we need to follow through and commit to in order for us to pursue our goal and our dreams and our passion in coaching and talent development and so on. So that's just one example of what I meant by making a decision is easy. Following through is the one that will separate you from success.
Yeah, I actually like that part. And I think another area to look at is also the word success. Because like when we were, 21, 22, success is very different. I said that macam berapa so long ago, man. When was 21, 22? My gosh. Okay. But yes, when we were younger and graduating, success is a different meaning to when we are, now and when we are parents and many other things comes along the way. So I think even success change as well, and we're going to be open to that. So all these things came to me when I had a coach. And a coach is somebody that really allowed me to kind of find who I am, what I want to do, and where should I start moving forward to. Because I was pretty lost when I was graduating. I didn't know what I wanted to do as well. So do you think, how does a coach really help somebody move through in life. People always confuse coaches, consultants, counselors, psychologists, all macam sama je. So how do
So many
you?
terms.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how does a coach actually helps?
So I think to put something off, off the window right now is, the differentiation between really a coach, a consultant, a trainer, a mentor, counselor, psychologist, whatever you call it, right? Because I have background I used to study psychology in uni, and then I have background in therapy and counseling and so on. So the key difference is this, right? Counseling therapy, it's really about solving past traumas and past issues. Basically, when you go for counseling and therapy, you speak to someone, you talk about all the things that happened in the past, for you to be able to process it well, so that you are able to understand, what has created the present you in the first place, right? That understanding helps you to better understand yourself to a certain extent, right? So that's the whole counseling therapy, but the more psychology kind of piece. Consultant, on the other hand, obviously it's, consulting, they consult you to do certain things, more specialized skills and so on. Trainer basically teach you certain things. A trainer teach you skills that you don't know, right? By the end of the training session, you learn certain skills, certain things that you never knew before, right? A mentor. Now, a mentor and a coach is where somehow it kind of have a little bit of a blurry line to a certain extent. In my opinion, for me, mentor is someone where you want to walk his or her path. Basically, you look up to someone and you have set your goal that, that is the person that I want to become. I want to walk his path. And it could be, I don't know, maybe back then, Mallory looking up to me and looking up like, oh, I want to be a coach. I want to follow that kind of path, for example, right? But in a corporate world, for example, you look up to a general manager and you tell yourself, you know what? My goal is to become the general manager. So in order for me to become the general manager, I want to walk the exact path that he or she has walked, right? Whatever that he does, I will follow because it's a proven steps to become a general manager to a certain extent. And last but not least, a coach. And for me, I would kind of summarize coaching with one word, which is exploration. Now, what that means is that in coaching, what we do as coaches is that we help you to explore, we help you to discover, we help you to facilitate, we help you to kind of get clarity by facilitating a process for you to do that. And that's what we're good at. So as coaches, we have different kind of coaching tools, coaching techniques, coaching framework to help to facilitate that process so that people are able to explore, discover, whatever that works for them. In a nutshell, we as coaches, we believe that, people have the ability to come up with solutions and whatever that they want to do in the first place. And our job as a coach is to facilitate that process. So that's how I see the difference between the whole different thing that people kind of might not understand. How do people get, I think I've summarized it just now, is the exploration piece. The reason why people get a coach is basically two things. Number one is the exploration, the clarity piece, because and mind you, I know a lot of people say this, which is, get a coach if you're feeling lost, get a coach when you don't know what you want, get a coach when you don't know what to do, and so on and so forth. I think that's only partly true, because a lot of my work has been with high performance individuals. What that means is that I work with individuals who are high performing. Either they are like top entrepreneurs, they are like top leaders in organizations, they're individuals with massive achievements and so on and so forth, but they needed a coach to help them to break through to the next level. So it's not just about being lost, at the same time, it's also about breaking through, right? Because at different stage of our life, we will go through, trust me, there will be people who are listening, you go through the past 10, 20, 30 years of your life really well. You know how to overcome certain things. You know what you need to do in order to get the promotion and so on and so forth. But there'll be one point of time where there is a bit of a ceiling. And this ceiling in coaching, this is what we call, possibly could be blind spot. And our role as a coach is to help you to uncover and explore that blind spot so that you're able to see what you don't see, so that you're able to know what you don't know. Then it opens up more kind of opportunities, more path for you to explore to become successful, to take your journey to the next level. So that's how I think coaching can help people. Not just if you're lost, you don't know what to do, but sometimes when you're very clear about what you want to do, when you're super laser focused, you need someone to help you to also see the blind side of things.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. I love the part. I love the fact that you shared. It's not just for those people who are lost, but also for those who are really laser focused. And with all that leads me up to this next question, which is this: with all the different you mentioned, different stages, different experiences, different people, and they want to acquire that certain breakthrough that you mentioned just now. How then can one choose or find that exact or the right coach for them?
Oh, okay. This is quite a tricky topic. I mean, I had a conversation with another fellow coach before as well, and I think both of us sort of came up with. I mean, obviously he's smarter, or whatever lah. Huh? He put an acronym to it and all these things. but and I was like, oh, this is just few things and so on and so. But generally, we came up with the same kind of conclusion. Like, if you want to pick a coach, right? There's a few things that you want to look at. Number one, you want to look at competency. As simple as that, right? Obviously, you want a coach who are well-trained, a coach who have certain experience being trained in certain coaching modalities, coaching tools, coaching techniques, and so on and so forth, right? That's very important. Number two, for me at least, is what I call chemistry. Now, what do I mean by chemistry? See, I always believe and I always believe that, in coaching and in this industry that we're in, I never believe in competing with other coaches. I never believe in competing with Mel, Jason, or Asfar in our coaching work, in our training work, and so on, because I believe human beings are driven by emotion. And emotion comes from chemistry, how you feel about someone, right?
True.
So for me, if you want to pick a coach, you should at least select a few and actually go and talk to a few of the coaches to see how the chemistry is like. And to give you a bit of context, why this is important is because I do have clients who have paid me like 5-figure to coach them, 5-figure Malaysian ringgit, because I charge in US dollar, right? For me to coach him for 6 months. We did a bit of work for like 2.5 to 3 months or so on and so forth. And then suddenly on the 3rd, 4th month, he came and he was like, KarFei, the past few months hasn't been as powerful. He told me that, KarFei, I've gotten a lot from the coaching session, but even though I've gotten a lot, I just don't feel that connection. I don't feel that personal touch. I don't feel that we're connecting at a deeper level, right? And he just said, you know what, but KarFei, it's okay. Like, I don't need a refund. I don't need anything, because in the 3 months, I've gotten certain results that I wanted. But it's just that while getting the result, I want to make sure that this coaching is also fun, it's also personal, it's also kind of, a good experience. And he doesn't get that. And obviously that's because there's a bit of that lack of chemistry. I mean, from my side, I feel that it is okay. I mean, he's high performing, he's the CEO of a big company and all these things. And like, this is the kind of client that I like to have and so on. I feel good. But from him, he doesn't feel that way. So we decided to terminate the partnership, the coaching relationship, and just part way and so on, right? So for me, chemistry is very important. So as a client, you also want to make sure that you feel good talking to someone, right? Like you feel good, like having that personal touch, that personal experience, and you feel like, okay, this coach is someone who I believe I can work with, I can have that personal connection with, and someone whom I trust, right? So that's the second thing. And the third thing for me is also what I call experience, right? Like you want to make sure that the coach that you have is someone who have certain experiences in coaching. Now, what do I mean by certain experiences in coaching? I want to make it very clear, right? See, someone like me, I've coached for 10 years, which means that I've coached tons of people, different kind of background, and all these kinds of different things. But on the other hand, you would have someone in the recent months or recent years, something that come out a lot this past during a pandemic is a lot of so-called coaches or so-called trainers or so-called gurus or whatever that you want to call them, right? And you can read their bio and they will tell you, I have 10 years of experiencing, 10 years of doing this. But if you ask them, how many years have you actually coached? And the answer is probably less than 6 months, probably a year. Now, what do I mean by that? What I meant by that is that you would have someone who just started out coaching right now, and they have like maybe 10, 20 years of working experience, but they only have like 6 months of coaching experience. Some are even worse. They learn coaching online in 5 days, and they call themselves a certified coach. They pay $97 to take the coaching certification, and they call themselves a certified coach. So that is a bit of a red flag that you want to pay attention to. That's the reason why I highlight specifically is coaching experience. It's not work experience, it's not life experiences. Because in that way, if you say life experiences, then you might as well better get someone who's 60, 70 years old. You might as well better go to, old folks home and talk to the old folks and get all those experiences that you want to have. Because in coaching, we have specific modalities, tools, techniques that we use to facilitate the process. And I think that is a very important thing that you want to pay attention to. So in a sense as well, I want to encourage everyone who's listening, if you want to pick a coach, make sure that you don't just read their bio, because these days the bio of all these coaches and so on is very, very well written. But you need to really dissect it to a certain extent. And last but not least, in terms of experience, I also think that a great coach's experience is also direct, besides doing the coaching and getting client, it's also direct proportionate with his or her time spent on developing him or herself.
Agree.
In terms of coaching, in terms of personal growth, and so on and so forth. Because you can't facilitate the process for many, many, many people if you don't keep on growing yourself. So I think that's one thing to look at as well for people. So the three things.
Agree. I love that the last part where you mentioned the self-development part, where even at Work Inspires as well, Mallory asked by myself, we always encourage ourselves to learn new things every day, or not we can't continue teaching and can't continue guiding new people. So I think I would like to touch on that chemistry point of view, that word chemistry, because we at Work Inspires, despite we do training, we split so far. I think Mallory and Asma will agree, somehow by the universal law of attraction, we somehow split our groups very equally. So Mallory will get the more strategic type that they need more strategic answers. Asma will get the more sentimentals that they have emotional issues that they have to handle. And I would generally get those that needs more empowerment and needs more confidence building in a way. So generally, I love that fact that you shared just now, that chemistry that we share, not just with the client, but also with the coach as well. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you for sharing your experience though on the part there, what happens when a coach and a coachee is on the same page. Because even personally for me, I've had a coach where I felt after a while like he really wanted me to be this, but I don't want to be this. And then eventually we parted ways. But I think I didn't really did it right. And then again, I did talk to you about it. So eventually we parted ways, but it wasn't in a very nice manner. Until today, we are not in talking terms already. So I think everybody should know I think to start off, you gotta know yourself as well. If you know yourself, what your values are, what are some of the areas that you feel comfortable and not right, that you want to put your feet down, I think you should and talk to somebody about it before you do that. Don't make the same mistake I did. So now that you've talked about the coaching, how does it work and things like that, we work with a lot of corporates. So I kind of want to know, how does coaching helps in a corporate setting? Besides the individual leadership, but nowadays there are a lot of companies also trying to get their teams to be coaches. How does that work? And how does it help in the leadership or non-leadership position in the corporate world?
Well, I think coaching in the corporate world, in terms of the whole leadership competency, in terms of developing leadership and so on, I think it is well documented, right? Like you guys can go and Google how coaching helped leadership development and all these kind of different things. I think you will have all this research and so on and so forth. So I don't want to touch upon that because it is something that it's Googleable, right? I want to touch upon two things that I've done in the past couple of years with a lot of head of departments, middle managers, executives, C-level, C-suites, and so on. It's two things. Number one, there are companies right now who are starting to use coaching as a means to help leaders to develop their personal growth. Now, what do I mean by personal growth, right? It's essentially everything outside of work. Because organizations these days, and I think if there's any corporate employees who are listening in this podcast right now, like in the past 2 years, I think it has become more evident that your ability to perform well in the workplace is a direct correlation with how well you manage your life. And when I say manage your life, that includes how well are you in terms of your health and fitness? How well are you in terms of you managing your relationship? How well are you actually spending time with your kids, with your wife? How well are you actually spending time reading something new? How well are you, or how much time are you spending on actually reading something that's not work related and so on and so forth, right? So that's what I've been doing quite a little bit in the recent years, working with top corporates outside of work. I mean, we talk about leadership, but at the same time, the self-development and personal growth became one of the top agenda for the coaching relationship as well. So that's one, the whole personal growth side of things. And the second one is actually emotional intelligence. In some of my work recently, I mean, I got myself certified as an emotional intelligence coach because when I understand a little bit more, I mean, Jason would know me, Mel would know me as well, right? Like I'm a lot more of a straight to the point, performance driven, get things done, very high level corporate-ish kind of attitude. But I started to realize that most employees or most top performers are able to perform well with that mentality to only a certain extent. The next level of breakthrough requires emotional intelligence. It requires that tapping into the emotion piece of things. And that's what I realized, I use coaching these days to help people to tap into their emotional intelligence, to really help them to be able to not just understand emotion, but be able to understand their own emotions in the first place. Because with a lot of work that I've done, I start to realize that, a lot of people behave in a certain way, a lot of people act in a certain way, a lot of people say things in a certain way. It's not because they want to, but it's because their emotions is actually kind of affecting them. And so in order for them to become better leader, in order for you to become a better performer in the workplace, I think emotional intelligence is the next piece that will really help people to have that breakthrough. So for me, it's these two things. These days, coaching on top of leadership, it is all about personal growth as well as emotional intelligence.
I think you hit the nail there, because I think from this pandemic, us being at home, last time you said that work is work, home is home, right? And now work and home is kind of intertwined one way or another. So there's no such thing as, don't bring your personal things to work or don't bring your work to home, because everything's just there. So
it doesn't exist. I mean, even if you go back to the office right now, you thought it's separated, but it's not. Come on. Let me give you an example, right? Let's just say one of your loved ones, passed away. You go through the whole funeral and all these kind of different things. You cry your balls out. Cry and 1 week after, company give you, grief process and all these kind of different things. 1 week after, you have to go back to the office. Now, when you get to the office, before you open the door, you tell yourself, okay, the funeral is done, everything is done. I'll take it out. I'll leave it on the door. I'm going to open the door. I'm going in. I'm not going to be affected by anything. I'm not going to be affected if someone talks about the funeral.
Right.
It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't, right?
Yeah.
So the key is to really understand that emotion and just allow it to be a part of you. That's how it helps you to become better.
Yeah, and I think for leaders, like to be able to connect with people, empathize to a certain level, yet being able to be the support to walk them through it, I think it's important. Similarly, like people, we sometimes don't know how to talk to our bosses and leaders. We just go in there and complain and vent and cry. So we also need that kind of element to be able to help us through. So in other words, yes, I completely agree with you, especially on the personal development side as well.
Agree. So I think to come to that question as well, because you mentioned that one key point just now, that it do become a high performer or a big performance individual is not just about work. It's about every part of the other field of your life, be it fitness, family, relationship. So then when it comes to curating life for be it a big performance or even a simple individual that just graduated, how or where or what should one focus on first specifically?
I think you mean focus on the areas of life, or what do you think an individual should do first in order for them to be able to get there?
I think let's start with do first. Let's do the practical one. What should they start off with?
Okay, one of the things I've always believed in is it's clarity, right? See, what I mean by clarity is that, you can't be a top performer if you don't have clarity about what you want. You can't be a top performer. You can't make decisions. You can't do things that you need to do if you're not clear about what you want. You're not clear about why you want what you want in the first place. Now, that is the key here. See, the reason why I say that is because you mentioned fresh graduates and just sort of going into life kind of thing, right? Adulthood kind of thing, right? It's because most people think they know what they want, but they don't know why they want what they want. And why do I say that? Is because, when I was 17, I was very clear with what I want. it was so clear that people were amazed, right? Like I told people, by the age of 30 years old, I'll become a general manager of Microsoft. Now,
Interesting.
fun fact, I've never even used a Microsoft laptop in my life, just saying.
That's what I thought. I was like,
That's
which
exactly-
part of you had this Microsoft thing there?
Exactly, right? And number two, I was like, I don't even know what the hell does a general manager do? Honestly, when I was 17, now let me give you a bit of a personal story, right? I came from a town, I came from Ipoh. Now, most people think Ipoh is a nice place to go, good food, which I agree, definitely better than Penang. But 17 years of my life, I've actually never been out of my little kind of like kampung in Ipoh. I've never even traveled to KL. Like my family was poor and all these other different things. So to a certain extent, for Malaysians, for locals who are listening to this, I'm basically that katak di bawah tempurung, right? Like I don't know what's out there in the world. I've never really seen tall KL tower buildings and so on, besides from our textbooks kind of thing, right? And why am I saying that is because how can someone who is so kind of like katak di bawah tempurung have no idea how life in a city is and so on, decide wants to become a general manager of a Microsoft, right? I don't even know how big Microsoft is then, right? I don't even have internet at home until I was 17. So I really have no idea how to use internet even then, right? Now, why am I telling you this? This is basically an evidence of how I was shaped. I made decisions. I thought I wanted to become a general manager of Microsoft because I was told that was the right thing to do. I was told that there was a biggest company in the world. I was like, what the hell is the biggest company in the world? And I see my cousins having computer and all of them are Microsoft and so on. I said, that must be a big thing, right? And that influenced my decision of who I want to become, what I want to do. And I thought that is what I want to do until. And at the point of time when I then 18 came to KL to study in uni and stuff, I was working towards it. I was doing my best to find ways to be able to get a job in Microsoft. Don't ask me how, I have no idea how, right? Until I met my coach. And that was the whole life-changing thing that happened, right? I don't want to talk about that, but the key is my coach helped me to get clarity about what I want, about why I want what I want, right? And it was then that I realized that this whole Microsoft thing is not meant for me. And it was then I decided to change my trajectory and all these kind of things, and it get me to where I am today. So for me, clarity is that one thing that you must and need to do. And the most important thing is that when you have that clarity, you can start to change your daily habits. You can start to change your yearly goals to suit that ambition or that vision of where you want to go. Now, this is where I want to kind of have a bit of a caveat right here. See, most people think, hey, wait, KarFei, does that mean that at the age of 21, at the age of 22, I already need to decide exactly what I want for the rest of my life? Well, the answer is no. You are gaining clarity based on where you are right now, based on what you know right now in this present moment. And you create a vision, you work towards it. And in the next few years, you work towards it, and life will happen. Trust me, suddenly you get a big promotion. And then you'll be like, do I really want this? Suddenly you decided to get married. Suddenly you decided to have a kid. Suddenly you decided, you know what? I want to screw everything. I want to eat, pray, love. I go to Bali. Is it wrong? No, it is not. Because when you go through a different stage of life, you then recreate your vision of what you want for your life based on what you have gone through. And then based on all the experiences that you have had, now you create the next vision. Most people make the mistakes that you need only one vision, one purpose, one passion in your life. But that's bullshit. I mean, I had a TEDx talk about this. I call this multi-passionate. Human beings are born to be multi-passionate, period. We want different things. We want variety. We want to try different things. So don't get fixated with only one thing. But it is important to make a decision. It is important to, in the present moment, make a decision that, you know what, this is what I want to do in the next 5 years. Is it going to turn out to be the best thing? Am I going to be a millionaire? Not necessarily. I don't know. But I make a decision. I'm going to pull through it. And I'm going to learn all these experiences. I'm going to learn all this knowledge along the way and take the next step. That is the key. So for me, everyone who's listening, it is not just for fresh grad, because I've done the same process for people who are 45 years old. I've done the same process for people who are 60 years old. Yes, I coach people from young working adults to people who are 65 years old. And the point that I'm trying to highlight to you here is that if you're 21 years old right now, don't worry, you're not alone. You are very young on your journey.
You are very young.
Some people are listening, you're 45, you're a big shot in a big company, corporate company, and you think that it is too late to make a change. I think it is time to think again. You don't want to make a change when you're 65. Again, even if there's some who are 65 who are listening, you still have quite a number of years for you to enjoy your life. So might as well make the full use out of it, right? So that's the key. For me, in my opinion, for people to make use to live their best life, to become the best version of themselves. That is my definition of peak performer.
I think that's very legit. And especially like you just mentioned, like 21, 45, 65, you're all at different stages, from starting out to mid-level, high flying shot to 65, you're all going to retire or retired. I think retirement is another thing, but that's another topic for another day. When people hit a certain age, they'll be like, what do I do now? I've been working for the past 35 years of my life.
Exactly.
And they just don't know what to do. So I think end of the day, right, I think summarize it is that life is an exploring journey. But I always tell this to everybody, you don't know what you don't know. So you gotta go out there and find out and discover and explore and dabble and try, because only then you know that, oh, like for me, I can't eat spicy food. I know I'm a Malaysian, but I can't eat spicy food. So the only way to know I can't eat spicy food is by eating spicy food and realize that I hate this thing.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so that's how it works. Okay, yeah. Jason?
All right. So with that, I think following up with this one question would be the last part, which is this: if anyone listening to this whole podcast and anyone who is just inspired by you and whatever you've been sharing for so passionately, trust me, I think Aspa in the background also is like, wow, I've never seen KarFei so passionately sharing so much before. So how can they reach out to you, be it a working professional, senior managers, or whoever that is looking for a coach? How can they reach out to you?
Okay, first things first, if you guys want to go the whole professional route, obviously LinkedIn, my name KarFei Chia, or you type Coach KarFei, there should be a first search that comes up. That's if you want a professional piece of things. If you want another more professional piece of things would be my website, commsleadership.com or coachkarfei.com. You'll be able to see all my details right there. And the more personal side will be on Instagram. If you want to see, I know if you go to my Instagram right now, you would see how come KarFei's feed is so boring, all quotes, and all these kind of different things. Well, that's what I want to show you. But if you want to see the more personal side of things, follow me on Instagram, because my Instagram story is where all the juice is. In terms of my coaching work, my clients, and my baby, and my personal life. Basically, my life, it's all on my Instagram stories, and I'm pretty active there. So if you guys have any questions, if you guys want to see what I do, my experiences, and so on and so forth, Instagram is actually the best place to be, because it is the real me, right? So those are the places that you can see me, and hopefully I'll be able to talk to you guys. I'll be able to see you guys next time, and really excited to get this podcast out to more people.
Really, really amazing. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for sharing so many nuggets of wisdom. I think even Valerie and myself also, we got a few extra insights along the way, and it really resonated with us from our perspective as we do coaching on the side as well. So, and with that, that marks the end of yet another great episode with the Work Inspires podcast, and this time with the amazing Coach KarFei. And as usual, do share with us if you find this podcast or this episode itself insightful. Comment down below whichever platform you are tuning into in this episode, from what was your one key takeaway from this episode, and connect with Coach KarFei, Mallory, me, myself, Jason, and also Aspa in the background. So till then, with that, have a great day ahead, and bye everyone.
Thank you so much. Bye everyone.
Thanks, KarFei. Stay safe.
Thank you, KarFei.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching this episode. We are here to inspire, so we really appreciate your support. Do share this to those people who you know can benefit from this podcast. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe all of our channels: Spotify, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Take care and see you all soon.